Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I have this story that's coming out of messy ass Missouri. So what's going on now in Missouri, you ask? What's going on is that there's this woman, and basically she decided to go into GameStop. I don't know what she went into GameStop for. I don't know if she had to do a return or a purchase, but she was in GameStop, and this couple, they were eating at Chipotle, and they came out and they happened to hear a little girl crying. So they ended up looking around. They couldn't find the mother. They opened the car door. The little girl's sweating profusely. She's extremely hot. She's in her car seat. So they end up taking her out the car seat. The mother then comes running out of GameStop. They get into it. Instead of her being grateful that somebody saved her child from a hot car, she proceeds to punch the man in the face. Now her ass has been arrested. Go ahead and check out this messy ass story, and I will come back with the rest of my comments.
I didn't really believe what I was seeing at first. You know, I just saw a child in a car, and I kind of turned my head more to see the parent sitting in front, and there was no parent in front.
A baby left in a hot car. Now the mother is under arrest for child endangerment. The fight after the hot car rescue is first on Fox. I'm Susan Highland.
I'm John Holt. It all went down in the parking lot of a Kansas City North Strip Center. And within the past hour, Platte County charges against the mom of that child. Taquana Pasco just charged with child endangerment. Fox 4's Shannon O'Brien live at the shops at Boardwalk in the Northland where it all happened. Shannon?
Well, it happened at the Chipotle that's right behind me. One of the witnesses to this event, named Jeremy Welch, says he and his wife and child were eating at the Chipotle. When they were done with dinner and walked out of the restaurant, he saw something he could hardly believe.
We had dinner, we came out, and I noticed as I passed a car parked in the handicap spot that there was a child in the back seat, and she was unattended. The windows were cracked. It was 91 degrees out, and she was sweating profusely.
Jeremy Welch says he and his wife Nina looked around for the little girl's parents, assuming they were standing somewhere near the car, but they didn't see anyone. Welch says over the next several minutes, a small crowd began to gather, concerned about the child in the hot car. He called 911.
And finally my wife said, you know, the little girl can't stay in there. And she opened the car and pulled the child out. The woman with the car next door, she got a bottle of water and was giving the little girl some water.
That's when Welch says the little girl's mother, 29-year-old Taquana Pasco, came out of the GameStop, demanding to know who took her child out of her car.
And she's like, why are you touching my child? Why do you have my child? And she explained, well, you left your child unattended, you know, in this hot car, so I took her out.
When they told Pasco the police had been called, well, Welch says she blew up.
She became extremely irate and demanded that we hand her child over immediately, and she rushed over and grabbed hold of her child and yanked on her. The child then began crying, and my wife said, no, I'm not giving you your child back. You need to wait for the police.
Welch said he had no choice but to step in between Pasco and his wife, who was holding the child.
She continued to slap at me and shove at me and push me to try and get around me, and I just stood in her way and told her she couldn't have her child back until the police got there.
People. The fight started right out here on the sidewalk first, then moved inside the restaurant.
The woman chased after her and was shoving customers out of the way to try and get to her, and once again was snatching at her child.
That's when the lady, the mother of the child, just kind of like confronted the couple that found them, and just everything got physical after that.
Chipotle manager Ben Castaneda says when the ruckus moved inside, they also called the police. Jeremy Welch, whose wife took the girl out of the car, then handed her to another woman to take her inside, says he stepped in to try and protect that woman and the child from Taquana Pasco.
And once again got in between her, you know, and wouldn't let her get at the other woman and the child, and just kept telling her she needed to calm down and wait for the police. She continued to hit and slap at me, and I repeatedly told her, ma'am, you need to calm down.
Welch says Pasco kept fighting and even ripped his shirt. When the police arrived, he says Pasco was fighting them too, so she was cuffed and arrested.
If you care so little about your child as to leave them in a hot car like that, then surely you see somebody else taking care of them, your attitude would be more like, hey, thanks for taking care of my kids since I didn't feel like doing it.
Experts say when it is just 83 degrees outside, a car in 15 minutes can reach 109 degrees, even with the windows rolled down about 2 inches. Another telling part about this story is the child was so hot when she was taken inside the Chipotle to cool off, she threw up several times. Shannon O'Brien, Fox 4 News, working for you live in Kansas.
I just watched the news clip, and I think that the woman should be arrested. My thing is this: how dare you attack somebody for caring more for your child than you did? You know, folks need to realize just because you're running into a store You can never dictate how long or how fast a line is going to move. It might look like a short line with only 2 people, but a person in front of you might have all types of issues, and you can mess around and be in line for 30 minutes. And the whole time she's in line, this poor child could have been in that car dying. How many more kids we have to have left in cars? When are folks going to learn their lessons? You know, we had the other woman down in Arizona who left her kids in the car to go to the job interview. And since then, we've had so many parents this summer leaving their kids in cars. It is against the law. You cannot just leave your child in a car with the windows cracked and then go on about your business. I mean, I don't understand what part of that people don't understand. You know, this is just insane. If you're going to leave your child in a car, then at least have the car running with the AC. But then a lot of parents won't do that because they don't want their cars stolen because they think their cars are more valuable than their children. It's like this situation makes no sense. How many more kids have to die in these hot cars before people realize to not leave their kids in hot cars? And then for her to have the audacity to assault and punch somebody, I mean, I just find the whole situation ridiculous. So now she's going to be charged with child endangerment, you know, leaving her child in the hot car, but also assault. So she really put a lot on her plate that she didn't need to. All she had to do was take the child into the store with her. It's not like the child wasn't big enough to walk alongside her or wasn't small enough where she could carry the child. You know, it's just sad that a lot of people are doing this. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. So anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation that's coming out of messy ass Missouri. All right, deuces.